Hi, everybody. I'm here with Miss Bab Timms, fourth grade teacher extraordinaire, and she is going to talk about project-based learning in her fourth grade class. So, no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Babs.
All right, Susan. I don't know if Susan's told you about me, but I'm a veteran teacher. I'd like to say that rather than old teacher. Been around a long time and taught a lot of different ways, but one of my favorite ways is project-based learning. And in a nutshell, project-based learning is when you tie a lot of your subjects together, present it to your children in a way that's interactive, and then give them the choices as to how to make it come alive. And the one I'm going to talk to you about today, I do lots of project-based learning activities, is my recent trip to Yellowstone National Park and how I changed that into a project-based science endeavor with my students.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up some pictures here, or some graphics to help her tell you what she's been doing.
Right, what you're seeing now is the national park stations. To just give you a little background, my sister and my friend and I, at spur of the moment, decided to check one off my bucket list and head on out to Yellowstone National Park, which I've always wanted to do. My sister had been there 50 years ago and said that's something everybody needs to do. And besides filling my soul and enriching my life, it made my head start thinking about how can I bring this back to my students? How can I use Yellowstone National Park as a project-based science activity in my fourth grade classroom? Because I've always thought, and since the very beginning, my sister was my mentor, a longtime teacher, I've always thought that you can't salt and pepper education. You have to marinate. You have to put children in an experience and enrich them. And the diversity of Yellowstone National Park just fit with our science standards in the earth science. So I first decided, how am I going to take each part, that's what you're seeing now, and make stations.
A little bit. And by the way, not to interrupt, but I will, if it's okay with Miss Timms, I will provide these electronically for you so you can have the hard copy as well.
Wonderful. Now, this is just the start. When I came back, I thought, well, how can I take my standards and put them into all the different activities with the Grand Tetons? Of course, they have to include that in there, and Old Faithful, and all the things, the diversity of Yellowstone National Park, and make it come alive. Now, Lakeside's a big old school, and we have an auditorium in the middle that we use for project-based learning activities. And what we're going to do is transform it into the things that you're seeing there, and have my fourth grade students, which we have 75 of us, we're going to be the park rangers, and we're going to learn about all the things that you're seeing there as part of our regular study of science. And then we're going to invite our families, our friends, and our third graders in to experience a day in one of our national park stations.
Doesn't that sound like fun? I've got to be there.
And she will be.
I will be there, and I will take pictures and video, hopefully. Well, let me pull up another that she gave me.
And this just tells you a reason as to why I'm doing it. You can glance through there, and you can see things as you're looking on there. It was, of course, the first national park. A lot of people say my president, Teddy Roosevelt, made it into a national park, but he was responsible. It was actually Grant that signed it into a national park in 1870s. And as you're looking through there, it's amazing how diverse it is and all the things that you can. That's why I chose it as the point to hook a lot of the things that we're doing. We study volcanoes and earthquakes and fires and geysers and prairies and valleys and rivers and lakes and glaciers, and it's there. We study the flora, we study the fauna. You have 900 historic buildings as you're looking through there. You have 1,000 archived documents, and my favorite, over 20,000 books written about Yellowstone National Park.
Wow.
So, and it sets up on a volcano. It has 1,000 to 3,000 earthquakes a year. As you're seeing, it has 28 Native American tribes, the Nez Perce Trail. So obviously it is a rich piece that you can start hooking all the other things that you're going to do, your fossils, and it has it's larger than Rhode Island and Delaware put together. Wow. It's just an amazing, amazing place, and the diversity of it.
Okay, look at all this. So much information. You have been busy.
Well,
since you
that's
got
just,
back.
collecting. And then the students will take it. And the good
Mhm.
thing about project-based learning is that your children can go from their interest base and their ability base and be successful.
Mhm.
And what you're seeing right now is our year at fourth grade. I am a standard-based teacher, so I put all of the standards that you see there that are in the Kansas State Standards
Oops, sorry.
and decide how we're going to do it. It's social studies and science based, and we enrich it with with our reading program, our art program. All of it's involved with the activities. So this gives you just a map of where we're heading this year. First semester, it even has some dates there to keep me online as we're going through. And some of our science fits in the Yellowstone Project, and some you can
Mhm.
see what we're doing with it there.
Well, and this is so good to show teachers how you meet the standards, but doing it in a way that is engaging, exciting, and authentic.
That's
You
what
know?
I truly believe, Susan,
Um,
because, one of my favorite sayings I tell my children is time is the world's most valuable yet equally distributed commodity. Everybody has 24/7, and a lot of people say, I don't have time to teach science and social studies.
Mhm.
So you have to be able to take it into your math, take it into your reading, all of the activities. And if you and do this embedding,
Mhm.
you're going to get through the standards in a
Yes.
way, and you're going to find lots of wonderful things that you already have that you can put in there. If you're
Yes.
studying fairy tales and that's one of your genres, and you're studying, as this is showing you right now, and you're studying the court system in the United States, then why don't you make a mock trial and put the fairy tale in? Those kind of things you
Mhm.
need to do
Yeah,
in
yeah.
order to enrich. And
Mhm.
this Yellowstone project, which we're going to be doing in the spring, is during National Park Week. So it's all fits in,
Fun.
the activities.
Fun. Well, let me pull up another one, and I apologize because I'm using a new program, so I'm kind of a novice here. Okay, what is
And
this?
This is basically what I did. See, I have to take this. I'm very eclectic in my thinking, but I'm kind of organized. I'll give this information to my students. I've done a lot of research, and they can do some more research, but I will give them one area of Yellowstone National Park, and this happens to be the West Thumb or the Grant Village area, and tell them in a nutshell what's there, what animals they will see there, what features they can choose to make come to life, and then they will take this document and then start their research. So it's just a way for me to make it easier for them, because when you put children out, as we all know, to Google whatever, it becomes, overwhelming.
Mhm.
So this is their first look at it.
Yeah.
And it gives you every part or every station. And I'm going to say, what would you like to do? If you're going to do the West Thumb area of Yellowstone National Parks, that's what is there.
Mhm.
And you can choose from the volcanic eruptions to the geyser basins and some frequently asked questions. And as you see, that just gives them a narrowing down.
Yes.
And I've done project-based for years, but technology makes it easier in many ways, because when we're doing our Mentos geysers in our endeavor, we can also go live to the camera and see Old Faithful going off at the same time.
Wonderful.
So you can do the technology piece with it.
Oh yeah.
And it gives the children just an area for them to start. And every year, this is our first, but every year we do it, it will be different. That we all plan it together. This is my pre-planning that you're seeing right here. And then the children get a hold of it, and they can take it wherever they want to do, if they're going to, whatever features they want to highlight.
I'm also guessing that places like this, all you would have to do is contact them, and they would probably send you whatever resources you wanted for your students, or students to contact them as well.
Absolutely. That's what I do.
People always want to help. They're not educators, so they don't, necessarily know, but if you, contact
Absolutely.
them.
And then when the children do that, I'll say, well, why don't we get a hold of Yellowstone National Park and ask them about Tower Roosevelt. Why is it there? Why was it named Tower Roosevelt? I'm an inquiry-based teacher, and I could tell the children, well, Mammoth Hot Springs. Well, why is it called Mammoth Hot Springs? Here's just a little bit. What I said, Mel Carrier's cabin. What do you think that has to do with that? So it just gives them a touch, so they have a beginning point for them to take the project and make it their own. and it will be fun to see how it comes out. And then I'll ask them, what kind of props do we need? What things do you think? Well, we need some conifer trees. Well, what is a conifer tree? You tell me what it looks like, and I'll go find it. So the children, although you have the hold on it, and you know where you're going, the children take you on your journey.
Yes.
Children take you on your journey. And then we'll talk about Old Faithful, and they'll say, well, it goes off, 24 times a day, every hour, you think? And they'll say, I doubt it. And I'll say, well, let's find out.
And then
you let them do the math, and then, okay, and if you know anything about Old Faithful, it depends on the last time it went up to how long it's going to be again.
Exactly.
So then they can do the math and figure out, when are we going to see it? If we would do it in real time, when would Old Faithful go off now?
Right,
so all of those things that you can encompass that are far beyond looking at it in a textbook.
And this next image I wanted to show everybody is an example of just some of your books, because literature is the nucleus of whatever we do in the classroom.
That is from one bookstore in Yellowstone National Park that I had to just collect all of them in the Grand Tetons. And now, of course, I'm on the lookout for lots of different books along those lines. One of my favorite right there is one that's called Imagine Yellowstone. And it talks about how this little girl imagines it one way as an artist, and then her dad's the geologist and tells her the real reason. So it's just, that's the start. I'll be on the lookout now for lots of books. And once your friends know, they'll say, I have a book on.
Make a bibliography. Absolutely. That's what I love to do.
Absolutely.
When I taught elementary, every time I take a vacation, I try to find children's books from the area, like when I went to Alaska several years ago, the folk tales from the different Native American tribes up there. Anything you can bring back to your kids on where you've been, don't you think, is so important?
Because experiences. Susan and I were just talking with my sister a few minutes ago about the value of experiences. They're priceless. You can't take them away. Possessions, are puddles of pleasure, I think we were talking about. But experiences can never be taken away. And sometimes you have to bring them into your classroom. And then later, like you'll hear on Facebook, the other day, one of my students said, I remember going 35 years ago with you to George Washington Carver National Park. I took my children back today. Oh. So,
yes.
Thanking you for giving the experience. If nothing else, this project, with all the other things I hope it does, it will just have that yearn for learning of people to go to a national park and to experience and have the ability for the people to have the foresight to save this area for everybody.
Exactly.
Like the Rockefellers could have made the Grand Tetons one of the, a premier place to go and vacation with high-level type of things, but they chose to make it a national park. So it's just choices we make.
That's
in life, and they gave it to everybody.
That's right.
They could have made a ton of money on making it into condos and whatever, but then we would have lost it. The world would have lost it. So that's right. Another aspect of this too.
Yeah. So, we've got just about a couple minutes. This program only lets me record 15 minutes, but any parting words of wisdom?
Just basically, be a standard-based teacher. We have to, you just can't teach Native Americans because we love it, but find out where it fits. Use your own experience to make your classroom come alive for your students, and they will benefit and they will learn. It's, long after kids forget what you taught them, they'll never forget how you taught them.
Oh, that's so true. And this is true whether you're teaching kindergarten or high school.
Right.
To bring it alive for our students. Thanks so much, Babs.
Well, you're very welcome.
Another great experience with you. Thanks a lot.